Hey guys, you're listening to Vaul, and we're looking at another first-person audio commentary. This particular game is between myself and a buddy of mine, Silver, another New Zealand player. Silver's a Zerg player, and he's pretty good with his various different kinds of strategies which he pulls off. Always tries to surprise you. Quite good with lurkers. Very rarely goes for Mutalisk, which is a bit unusual these days because Mutalisk micromanagement is so strong, but Silver tends not to go for that. Instead, he is a very notorious lurker user and sometimes Guardians, tries for these sneaky strategies. So with that in mind, I will be looking to defeat him in this particular game. The map is on Byzantium, and Byzantium being a relatively new map, I showed you guys a game that I played against Play Judge, and that was a TvT. Now it's time to take a look at a TvZ game on this particular map. Another thing that I'm going to actually be doing in this game is to go for a two-barracks academy refinery sunk break build right before expanding, and that's something I very rarely do. And one thing I've been practicing a lot lately is the one barracks into command center strategy, because that's a very solid build. It's pretty much the best all-round build that you can play in. My playing style is very much a responsive playing style. I really like to, especially in Terran vs. Zerg and Terran vs. Protoss, I really like to just scout out my opponent, see what he's doing, and try and respond to him, or instead of trying to take the initiative. In Terran vs. Terran, it's a bit different. Because of the nature of that matchup, I sometimes like to take a bit more of an initiative and pull off a rush or something like that. But that's not the case. I just spotted an Overlord there heading up towards my base, so I know that he's going to be down the bottom right, just given the fact that his Overlord, his first Overlord, has made it that far across to me already, so I know that he's down the bottom right, just judging from the timings. Yeah, back to this idea of going two barracks. It's not something I'm comfortable with because it's very, very easy for the Zerg player to adapt to. All you really got to do is get a few Zerglings out, get a few Sunkens down. You don't need that many Sunkens to stop it, because it's so hard to get that many Marines and Medics early on enough in the game. And I mean, if you wait for too many Marines and Medics, then he's got his tech up running. You could be facing lurkers as well, or Mutalisks, and that's when your rush will really fail. So it's really just a matter of pushing out with a couple of Firebats, a couple of Medics, and at least 6 Marines, and trying to break the Sunkens that way. And usually he has an Overlord scouting your entrance, and you'll be able to put up as many Sunken colonies as he needs. But if the Zerg is really not expecting it, sometimes you can actually do a fair bit of damage with this build. And I've been seeing some pro players do it a little bit more often these days, so I thought I'd just have another crack at it, see how it's doing for me these days. This is third hatchery, so I know that he's going for a 3-hatch build. Probably going to be pumping the drones, and that's good for me, knowing that I'm going to be pulling off this more risky strategy. Heading my Marine around just to see if he's got an Overlord camped out. I'm pretty sure he'll have an Overlord camped out in that elevated ridge area just next to my natural expansion. And that Overlord will see my units move out, and hopefully I get across the map to a sunken line before that happens, but we'll see. I've got to put down a sunken colony now. Sorry, not a sunken colony, an academy. I've got an SCV in his base. Of course, I want to keep that alive for as long as possible while multitasking my base. So this is quite a fun part of the game where you've really got to multitask and dodge the Zerglings. It's kind of like one of those UMS maps where you've just got to dodge all the units. But the longer you can keep your SCV there, of course, the longer you can keep his Zerglings from harassing you, and that obviously allows you to deny him scouting a little bit more. And if you are going for a single racks into command center build, keeping your SCV running around in a space like that and just dragging all of the Zerglings around prevents you from having to build a bunker, and that's quite important as well. Saves you some minerals and saves you an SCV that could be doing something else like mining or building a different building. But SCVs are still alive for now and still building Marines. I think I've just lost it. Yeah, so at this point, I'm expecting him to run in with like at least one Zergling or a drone or something to see what I'm up to, and he should see that I haven't got a command center. He should realize that I'm either going for a sunk break build or some kind of tech build where I drop him with a dropship, a single dropship and a load of Marines and Medics, or some kind of Vulture or Wraith build. And most Zerg players get on the defensive when they see the absence of command center there. There's no real reason for me to float the command center over. And normally I would just put the command centers down straight into the natural. So at this point, now that my academy's up, want to go for 5-bats and medics just as fast as I can. Start to push out. I'll build a few more 5-bats and medics just so I can block my choke. That way, hopefully he just tries to counter my main with Zerglings when I attack his Sunkens, and finds 5-backs there, and that would be ideal for me. I'm not sure if he'll do that, but it'll be ideal for me because it means that he won't have any Zerglings at the Sunken Break situation. And excuse me. Just ran past a group of Zerglings, so I know that he's potentially going to be attacking here. So I just want to keep those 2 units at the ramp helm on hold position. A couple of reinforcements there. He's got 2 Sunkens already, so I just want to get my units ready. Unfortunately, I've only got a single medic there, but it's now or never. Really got to attack. Very luckily, he's got his Zerglings back at my base, and he's decided not to try and attack, and wisely. So at this point, I'll be expecting him to run back as soon as he can with his Zerglings. So just trying to do as much damage as I can. I'm taking out both Sunkens, trying to kill at least a few drones. Even if this rush doesn't work, I know it'll still have made up for it if I can actually take out some drones. So that's what I'm going to try and do next. Looks like he's taking his drones off the line now. But finally his Zerglings arrived. So good timing by Silver there, surrounding my forces, and he's stopped that little group from doing any more damage. Luckily, I've stopped him from doing a little bit of mining, and I've killed a few drones. I'll head down with my 2 5-bats and hopefully do even more damage. But yeah, just in a bit of a precarious situation because I've got nothing defending my choke point at this point. And I still haven't got an expansion, so it's not exactly as if I'm doing better than him economically. There he goes with a couple more Sunkens, so I've just got to try and micromanage these 5-bats. Not doing particularly well. At least got 1 5-bat next to the medic, so I can kill some Zerglings, but that's it. Finally the Sunken is morphed, and completely out of units at this point, so very vulnerable. Scanning his main, noticing he's going for Hydralisks. That's probably a good thing. I mean, as I said before, this player typically goes for Hydralisks, good old Silver, instead of Mulisks. If he had gone for Mulisks, I could be in a bit of trouble here because I've got no turrets and I'm quite low on money. What's that Marine doing? Terrible micromanagement there. So finally I've got the expansion up, and again, I'm still in a bit of a worrying situation in terms of defense. Trying to get my tech up, trying to build some more units, but here he comes with some Zerglings, so this looks really bad for me. I've only got 3 Marines. I'm not sure why he's not pressing the attack there, but linked up with a medic, and Zerglings overrunning my force there, so looking pretty bad for me. I've just got no units at this point, and he's got a decent-sized group of units. Luckily, he hasn't actually morphed any lurkers at this point. But this plan here is just take off a few SVs off the line and have them healed by medics. Putting a bunker down on my natural, expecting him just to start rushing me with Zerglings at this point, and he's decided to morph lurkers in the middle of my base, and I can't help but feel that this is actually a bad decision for him. If he had just kept the Hydralisk to kill a few more units, he would have got some kills, but because he's morphing lurkers, that actually buys me heaps of time to get into position, spread out my Marines and build some more, and once those lurkers morph, they'll just be surrounded by my units. I will be able to use a single scan and take them out. So here go the lurkers now, scanning. Unfortunately, one medic's running to the side. I hate it when they do that. But luckily, I've taken out all of his units. So very fortunate to have saved myself in that situation. I thought I would have actually lost the game there. But he didn't have any more reinforcements arriving, and those lurkers didn't really do much damage. So feeling a bit more optimistic now that I've got 4 barracks, just that 4 barracks lost the SV there, just putting that stupid phone. Somebody pick up the phone. Back to the game. I've got that science vessel ready now to start being produced. Just want to scan around the map, see if he's going for any more locations shortly. Byzantium being a fairly big map, it's got plenty of expansion locations around. And wow, I've trapped that SCV down at the top right, in between 2 supply depots. Very annoying. If you're Zerg, of course, it doesn't matter because your buildings are nice and spread out. But with Terran, you've really got to be careful not to just block SCVs everywhere and totally block pathing for all of units. He showed up with a number of lurkers at this point. I'm not too worried about them because there's only 3, and I've got bunkers here and I've got a tank. So there's one lurker killed. Unfortunately, wasted a scan there. He ran away before I could actually get some kills. But not to worry. Trying to keep up with SCV production as much as I can. And TvZ, it's This is the matchup where I make the least SCVs, just in virtually